Now, Larry Nichols is former Green Beret, special ops, working for the CIA, you name it, obviously. He's not supposed to get into all that. And then went to basically interface with the Dixie Mafia that runs the South. The Dixie Mafia is the shadow government. It's mainly Democrats. Democrats here in town are Dixie Mafia. But, you know, they run the show. And then when the Clintons started killing kids and stuff, he said, look, I'm not going to be part of killing 13-year-old kids and see drug shipments. We're not doing it. There's no reason to kill those kids. And so he went out against them, and the rest is history. And most folks don't know who he is because it's been 20 years since the whole Clinton thing. It's good that Trump's bringing all this back up. And Nichols told us here on the show, what day was Nichols on? He told us last week that this will be coming out in the next 2 weeks. Well, it has come out. Trump and the Washington Post, everywhere else, saying, hey, Vince Foster, very mysterious, needs to be investigated. He's talking about the rapes. All of it, it's happening. And Nichols says more is about to come out. Here to drop that bombshell is Larry Nichols, a man who has incredible courage. And he took photos of the black government SUV pulling up in his yard, pulling out in the rural area. And then the cops came and told him, what are they doing? And they said, we're feds, Homeland Security. You can't get out of here. They wanted our viewers and everybody else to know we're on you when we were talking about the Supreme Court Justice, Scalia. I mean, this is a very serious time, folks. The enemy's moving. Censorship is moving. I've never seen such movement, and it gives me goosebumps. But not a fear. I'm actually just exhilarated, though. I mean, I feel like the fight's here now. I feel crazed, quite frankly. God bless you, my friend. I hope you're doing okay. I know you can't even be on video Skype with us, but we're praying for you. NicholsLive@AOL.com is your PayPal. Folks need to support you. I know you're battling cancer, my friend, but we'll talk about that at the end of the interview. Thank you, Mr. Nichols, for coming on.
You bet, Alex, and thank you, buddy. And let me say, I know we need to talk about Foster, but folks, you better be prepared. You better be prepared because we are at the beginning of the end of this silent coup. Alex, it's now or never. We're going to come out of this either the nation we were or the nation we never wanted to be. But it's now, and it's on us. And people have got to use you. I hate to say it that way, but they've got to use Infowars as a medium. You know, I respect more than you can know because, you know, I understand the little talk show world, but I respect you for bringing people from other media sources in without being jealous. You know, folks, this is no time for everybody to divide up and this group go their way, this group. Look. We've got to communicate and get the word out. And I would tell everybody, get on Alex's email list. You will learn very soon why that's important. You will learn. It's coming. I'm sorry, Alex. I didn't mean to blurt in.
You've got the floor. I mean, let's get into all of it.
Well, all right, let's get into all of it. Let me tell you something. You see today, Trump brings out Vince Foster. And here we go. Here we go. Here they go. Anybody that believes Vince Foster's death was suspicious is a nutcase. Well, folks, let me tell you about that. Once Hillary clears the Democratic nomination, then about every week, Alex, I will be right here with you, if you will allow me to, and I will share stuff that nobody has known over these 20 years plus about the death of Vince Foster.
Well, please don't wait. Let's start doing it right now because I don't want a hit squad coming down here.
Well, then let's start with the first thing that ought to make this a bit suspicious. The official story of Foster's death is that he parked his car at Fort Marcy Park, walked some 200 yards in the hot sun on a dirt trail, went to a berm by a cannon, Civil War cannon, sat down and shot himself in the mouth and blew the crown of his skull off. Well, that's the official story. However, Alex has, and I think you're going to put it on the screen, something I came up with, which was the actual Secret Service memo. Now, folks, this is in the House. This is in congressional records. This is there. So when you start talking about us being nutcakes, let's deal with this piece of information right here. When the park police notified the Secret Service at the White House of the death of Vincent Foster, This is the actual memo they gave him. Now, what is significant about this memo is it says the body of Vincent Foster was found in his car in the parking lot at Fort Marcy Park. And it went on to describe six-pack bottle of James was in the front seat with him. One he had drank, the others had not been opened yet. It mentioned the fact that the .38 revolver was there in the car with him. It mentioned the fact that the magic briefcase was in the back seat and it was empty. I say the magic briefcase because there it was in the back seat empty. 3 days later, it was supposedly found in his office. When they investigated his office and they inspected it, it was empty. And then guess what? We raised so much cane, you'll remember, Alex, you and I and others, about the fact that there was no suicide note, that 3 or 4 days after that, in comes Hillary's people into Foster's office. They refound the briefcase, simply turn it upside down, and out falls the torn up suicide note. So yeah, let's start there. When you want to discredit this story as being over, and anybody that has question about it, you're nutcases, right? Well, let's start there. Right out of the chute, did he die on the berm by the cannon, or did he die in his car? Now, Alex, I don't know about you, but I don't believe that's a typo. You know, I could understand with all the...
We've got him cleaning his office out and all of it. I mean, a lot of folks know the story. A lot of our audience is informed. For me, and I want to go back over it, you said this was coming out in the next few weeks. You were correct. I know you have a lot of sources. What else is coming out, and what do you think of Trump? I mean, he's got more and more courage. I got to tell you, I really admire him.
Well, he does. What I worry is Trump. I don't want Trump, as he goes and tries to coalesce the Republican Party around him, I don't want him to buy into all of the junk they're going to try to tell him. Just today, this morning, I saw pundit after pundit from the RNC saying that Trump shouldn't deal with this issue. He needs to deal with the economy. Look, this if you know the Clintons as I do.
The only way to beat him is going after him.
You bet. They're going to come after Trump. They're not going. They're going to spend 60 to 70% of their campaign, $1 billion, on trashing Donald Trump.
They want him to lower his defenses.
Yep. Now, if you can be restricted, Donald Trump, from what you can say back about the Clintons, then you're beat.
Well, let me just tell you, he's now the. I mean, folks are excited. He's going with the advice because it's his own view. The gloves are off.
Well, he needs to keep the gloves off. And I'll tell you something else that's going to come out in the next week. Something's going to come out about the death of Vince Foster having to do with the fact that there was no blood found at the scene. There were his skull, obviously, I don't want to be gross, but anyway, because of the wound, there should have been a bullet and pieces of skull laying at the crime scene, yet they found
Sure, his
no
brains
blood.
weren't blown out there. He'd been moved there.
That's
and we're
right.
going to talk about that. Obviously, Trump's talking to the Inquirer, too. You've been talking to him, so he knows it's coming out next week. He loves to be shown to be right, so he obviously understands this big expose is coming out, too.
Everything Trump says, I assure you, there will be a collateral story that comes out to support what he says. And it will be true. It will be backed up. And what's neat about this, Alex, people can discredit me. That's fine. Call me a nutcase. That's fine. What is coming out about Vince Foster are the true relative facts from the investigation, not from me. For example, soon to come out will be the actual autopsy report, Alex. Now, you tell me, how does a man walk 200 yards in 90-plus degree temperature on a dirt trail, get to the site, sit down, and let me ask you this, how do you do that and not have one microscopic speck of dust on your shoes, socks, or pants? How?
You roll them up in the carpet.
Well, there's the other part. What he did have on his pants were long, shag, multicolored carpet fibers. And that was all over him. Now, the thing that people did not know until your next guest, I believe, is the one that brought it out. I was going to, but I was going to wait, and they went ahead and brought it out. The fact that, guess what, guys? There was another entrance to that part. The big thing has always been, Alex, if they rolled the man up in a carpet from the actual place that he died. Now, let's get this clear. Alex, please make this very clear about me. I have never said he was murdered. I've never said he killed himself. Whichever way it went, I can't prove. But I can and will prove that they moved the body. All right, you got it? That I can prove.
There's a cover-up going on, so we don't know what it is, but that's good for an open investigation with the death. If they're proven to be lying about the story, it's all opened back up again, and we're on the verge of that. The Clintons thought they would just have their past not looked at, but Donald Trump is willing to do it, and Larry Nichols is willing to do it, and Matt Drudge and the American people and others are willing to do it. We'll be back with Larry Nichols, and Roger Stone's coming on. Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central, we broadcast worldwide. Back 7 o'clock Central, Infowars Nightly News. Roger Stone's coming up at like 5 after. We've got our guest for 2 more little segments. I appreciate him coming on short notice. Larry Nichols. By the way, Larry had a very successful job in the Arkansas development firm, was doing really great. He left the Clintons, that's on record, and began whistleblowing on them, and all these books, and Whitewater came out after it, and everything. And so we owe him a debt of gratitude for that. He's been battling cancer. He doesn't ask for this, but I know that he's been unable to even do the show sometimes. He's been in the hospital, and we've been up there. We've sent him some money. He's basically almost lost everything he's got. It's very important for folks, this 20-plus year battle with the Clintons, to, if you can, send him a few bucks so he can try to get the best medical care he can to keep getting this info out to the media and hopefully get better. But he just wants to make it through the election. We're praying for him. So we'll put up on screen right now Larry Nichols, 58 Kensington, Kensington Drive, Conway, Arkansas, 72034. Or the most easy way to do it is nicholslive@AOL.com. There it is, PayPal. All right, going back to Mr. Nichols. Larry, it's a big deal Trump's doing this, obviously. More's coming out on Foster. It's really scaring him. What do you think the Clintons are doing right now? What do you think is going through their mind? Their Facebook censoring's been caught. They're getting caught on so many fronts. Seems like everything they do is turn into horse manure, but still they're in power. What do you expect? I mean, what's going on inside their camp right now from all your years of working with them?
They're going into a full damage control mode. There's something going on. Well, first off, let me finish, and I'll let you talk with Roger, your next guest, about it. But there's something that's always been out there that's helped them discredit the story of him being rolled up in carpet, folks. And that is that, nobody could carry a man rolled up in carpet into 200 yards into the park and not be seen. Well, guess what? There was another way to get into the park. There was another entrance, and you need to go over that with Roger. Now, what they're doing is they're getting full ready. But there's a story that has come out today that next week, if you will allow me, we'll get into when we have a little more time, and it's about Terry McAuliffe and the money he got from this Wang, this Chinese guy. Well, they don't want the story that you and I are going to talk about to come out. That's what's scaring them about it. And it has to do with a Chinese guy named Charlie Tree. Charlie Tree was a restaurant owner in Arkansas when Clinton was governor. When Clinton was elected president, he went to Washington with him. He was in, Alex, if you can believe this, on top secret security meetings with the president and his staff. And I caught him going across the street after these meetings to the Stevens investment firm office, and he sent faxes to the Chinese government, relaying the information that was talked about in these security meetings. Now, Clinton and them don't want that coming out. And this whole thing with Wang is going to be the beginning of bringing that out. And I hope Trump's listening, because he needs to delve into that. Now, Tree was eventually, because of the work we did to get it known, he was eventually prosecuted to some degree, but it was over $600,000 in campaign contributions from a foreign government.
Sure, and Obama, it was famous C-SPAN footage where he would just have all the Chinese leaders and generals in plain clothes around the table and just sell stuff off.
Well, remember, I was in California speaking at an engagement, and there in the hotel was none other than Al Gore meeting with a Chinese general getting an envelope full of money, and I took the picture of it, and it was released. Yeah, this stuff's coming out.
Well, you're an amazing operative. They certainly hate not having you on their side. I know you probably got to go, but Stone isn't coming on for 5 minutes. Do 5 more with us if you can. Punch out if you have. Okay, good. We'll be back talking more about that because people are about to learn about the communist generals, the missile secrets, the MIRV technology. Stay with us. Third hour straight ahead. Roger Stone's popping in too.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones, only on the GCN Radio Network.
They call Richard Snowden a traitor. He's now been proven right that he did go and try to, and others went and tried to leak info. Pardon me, you just popped my ear, CJ. Edward Snowden, yeah, I couldn't hear him. I'm teleprompter free here. The point is, Edward Snowden, of course, has been proven correct when he said, look, other whistleblowers went through and then they got persecuted when they went through Congress or went through the Attorney General's office. Well, they call him a traitor. The Clintons on record gave missile secrets, reentry secrets, so that the Chinese missiles could get off the ground, get into orbit, and hit the United States or Europe. And nobody got in trouble because Ken Starr went after sex and stuff, and now Ken Starr is a big Clinton worshiper. He always was. Let's go back to Larry Nichols of more of what's coming out and the Chi-Com connection to the Clintons. Larry?
Well, you know, Alex, one thing people need to understand, because of Bill Clinton and the work he did with the communist Chinese, and I repeat, communist Chinese government, you may not know this, folks, but our most sophisticated jet fighter, the F-18, fly-by-wire, the computer, the onboard computer that controls that jet was turned over during Bill Clinton's administration. He gave to the Chinese the rights to manufacture that computer. Now, Alex, I got to ask you, with the potential of China becoming an enemy of this country, if they're not already, I'm talking about really, then you tell me, do you believe they didn't build a back door into those computers into our jets? Do you not believe that they can push a button and every one of our jets are disengaged? Bill Clinton did that.
That's how we've been set up. And by the way, I know the guy that helped design that computer, the head of the project, Mike Judge, who went on to do all the big TV shows. But that's just amazing.
It is. And then when you deal with North Korea, do you know where they got the miniaturization technology to be able to put a nuke, to miniaturize a nuke? Now, they haven't built a missile yet to carry it, but the miniaturization system they got from the Clinton administration.
They allowed Laurel and Hughes to transfer the reentry devices as well.
They did indeed. So, folks, when you think of the Clintons, I'm not here just talking about girly issues. Hey, guys, the girly issues was just a vehicle I had to use in that day and time to cut through the media and get something to get it out. The girl stuff was nothing. Yes, he was a womanizer. Yes, he was a sexual deviant. Yes, he did those things to Kathleen and what's her name? Broderick. Yes, he did. And, you know, it's kind of funny right now. You've got, what's the comedian's name being, he's going to have to go to trial.
Bill Cosby.
Cosby for molesting, you know, these women. Well, what do you think Clinton did? But instead of going on trial, they're running for president. And if you think, well, let's separate Hillary from Bill, that was all Bill. No, folks. Hillary ran. This is coming out in the Enquirer. I know that sounds crazy, but it's coming out in the Enquirer. Hillary led the bimbo eruption.
Well, she's on record that she honchoed that. You and others proved it. Now it's just all coming back, and they don't want it to be discussed. And Donald Trump and everybody else isn't shutting up. Our audience isn't shutting up, and they can't stop us all in 60 seconds. How do you expect they'll strike back? I'm afraid they'll kill Trump.
I don't think they will start out killing him. They still have the power of the media, Alex, and they're going to hit. Remember, they're not bound with the media by the truth. We are. I mean, we have to be able to verify what we say, and they they still say we're nuts and crazy. But they're not bound by that. So they can make allegation after allegation against Trump, whether it be true or not, most of it not. And they will have billions of dollars in free media spreading the word. They're going to start out destroying Trump. Now, before I go, folks, I don't know what the name of it is with your company, Alex, but they better get your storable foods now.
Well, I know the economy's in trouble, and I know I'm getting more prepared, and that's what helps fund our operation, so it's a win-win. You can't lose. It's insurance you can eat. Infowars Select, InfowarsSelect.com. Thank you, Larry. We'll talk to you again next week as this unfolds. God bless. Roger Stone, straight ahead.